Elvis is the newest musical biopic that came to theaters back in June recently and is directed by Baz Luhrmann, starring Austin Butler as the famed and iconic Elvis Presley, along with Tom Hanks, who stars as Elvis's corrupt manager, Colonel Tom Parker, and a bunch of other various amount of actors, some you will recognize and some you won't, who together over the next 20 years will showcase most of Elvis's career as well as his fallouts and in a very stylized and highly edited telling of the story. And to talk on the editing of this movie, that's why I include in that little snippet at the beginning of the video, because truly not only do I think is that how the editor of this film feels about making this film, but that's also probably how I feel after just watching it. I couldn't imagine even making the film to begin with, because essentially that's what this movie relies so heavily on because of who the director is in Baz Luhrmann. This man, from what I've seen, cooks and works his editors to the bone on his films. He's mainly known for The Great Gatsby and Moulin Rouge, two films of which I haven't seen before, so Elvis is actually my first taste of his filmmaking. And right off the bat, I can see why lots of people like his style. He very much relies heavily on editing, it seems, to drive a lot of the story of his films, which isn't a bad thing as long as it's not overdone. And sadly, I think he might have overstepped it here. And don't get me wrong, I like the movie, but I really do think there's a lot here in the final cut that could have made this arguably one of the best films of the year. The editing obviously is the biggest detractor. While at times it's very well utilized, I do think Baz overcooked it a lot. Just too many scenes that I feel you really needed to slow it down, and sadly they just feel like too much. One thing I wish this movie had more of is the dramatic scenes between our characters. It does feel like everything with the music overshadows the dramatic tones and the scenes of emotion and great acting. You have actors like Tom Hanks and Austin Butler who by all means will get nominated for their performances, mainly Butler anyway. He's absolutely incredible in this role and will get a lot more roles in the future because of this. We know he's going to be in the next Dune movie with Denis Villeneuve, which is really good. I cannot wait for that. But Austin really does carry this movie. I mean, you could not have casted a better actor for this. I don't know if he's going to win the Oscar necessarily, but damn it, this might be the closest he ever could possibly get to winning it. Tom Hanks as his really corrupt and greedy manager was also really good in the film. Hanks basically pulled a Christian Bale from Vice and transformed into an entirely different human, while also giving a great performance as this person who basically in some cases is the reason for all the downfalls and some of the highs of Elvis's career, as well what led him to his death. And that's not really a spoiler since this is a real life story after all. But that's essentially what the movie is. It's a narrative retelling of his story growing up and through his career during a lot of his biggest moments in his personal and musical life. The movie also tells that story while clocking in around 2 hours and 39 minutes, and at times it can feel a bit long, but hey, if you are telling this man's story, it being a long time is probably the wisest option that you could have gone with. And Baz Luhrmann himself does a really good job directing for sure. I mean, the scenes are well shot and really well choreographed while also telling the story to a good extent of what each scene shows in his life. The music is also created and made brilliantly here, and apparently Butler both sang and didn't sing some of the stuff here in this film, so that's also very impressive from what he was able to do. And all the technical stuff in general, minus a lot of the editing, is just really good here. So mainly for my only criticisms are the editing first and foremost. A lot of it is just way too much, and at times it can just be too much to where you can kind of get bored of it, and there's also some questionable uses of modern music in the film that I wasn't so much of a fan of, and I could have probably gone without. And the beginning can also be a bit slow, and I think it could have picked itself up a bit, but due to that editing, it falls because of that. And at the end of the day, this isn't really a movie that I think I'll find myself going back and watching anytime soon. I saw it and then that was really it for me. Biopics aren't films that attract me a lot, and musicals, while this isn't one, I feel a movie with music styles like this aren't my strong suit. I really don't watch a whole lot of these types of films. But neither here nor there, that will conclude the review of Elvis. I know this movie came out in June, but here now watching it and reviewing it, I wanted to give you all my thoughts on the film. And so now I want to hear your thoughts in the comments if you have seen the film. If you like this review and you want to see more, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next review.